All-time great, the greatest ever at his position, top 5 ever. So you give him a look like that for the game, he is licking his chops.
I've heard the duo of Stephen Curry and Jonathan Kuminga can't win.
Oh my goodness. Come on! 6 for 6!
I don't know what went into that process.
Yet here we are.
Efficiency. Oh, Kuminga! Nice move! Splits the defense and throws it down.
Back-to-back games.
Picks up where everybody else left off.
Oh, Steph 5 for 5!
Back-to-back nights. Back-to-back blowouts. Then back-to-back-to-back wins.
Curry comes free, gets the ball, puts up a three-pointer. Bang! Steph Curry nails a three-pointer with 7/10 of a second remaining.
6 threes in just the first quarter. I wouldn't be shocked if Adam Silver had Curry tested and it came back that this man isn't even human. Because what? At this point, anyone who knows anything about NBA basketball and bet against the Warriors are simply in denial of what we're witnessing. Ladies and gentlemen, the energy has shifted. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Swish Culture. The last thing the NBA wanted was Stephen Curry getting any kind of help from a second option, because a rebirth of the Golden State Warriors would be traumatic for some. Let's have a look at what the Warriors have done recently and why the rest of the NBA should be terrified of this team. Just don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Swish Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. So get ready. You're about to get swished. It was a cold night in Philly, and for the 76ers, it was about to get even colder. Just over a week prior, the Sixers showed up to Chase Center lickety-split, took their lickings and went home to lick their wounds, hoping to split the season series. Unfortunately, in that last game, Joel Embiid further exacerbated a sore knee, resulting in an injury that required surgery. As of right now, there is no timeline on Joel's return, but if the Sixers wanted to have any hope of competing in the playoffs, they'll need Joel back ASAP. The team is 3-7 in their last 10 games, having lost their last 3 in a row. While Embiid was with the Sixers when they played Golden State, Maxey was unavailable. This time around in Philly, Maxey would be back in the Sixers starting lineup while Embiid continues to recover. Coming off a win over the Brooklyn Nets, the Warriors' young players look to secure minutes on a roster that's harder to break through than Guantanamo Bay. And if you don't think that's hard, ask Harold and Kumar what they had to do to leave.
What about that? They just got here.
Big Bob's taking care of them.
Big Bob. Big Bob? And listen, guys, enjoy.
Holy
I'm Big Bob.
The Warriors ran what is now their new go-to lineup: Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Kuminga, and Draymond Green. At the beginning of the season, I stated that Kuminga could be a starter by the time we get midway through the season. I also stated that he wouldn't be able to get that role over Dre or Wiggins. However, the one weakness in the Warriors lineup would be that 5 spot, Kevon Looney. 3 months later, Kevon Looney is out of the starting lineup, Dre moves to the 5, and Kuminga slots in at the 4. Whenever Pods has replaced Klay in this lineup, it has been functionally the most devastating lineup the Warriors could put on the floor on any given night. For the foreseeable future, however, that spot remains with Klay. Things were a little slow to get going in the first quarter. I mean, really slow. Both teams laid enough bricks to build a pyramid that would make the ones in Giza look like sandcastles. Have a look at this chart. The white dots are the misses, and the colored dots, the black and blue dots are the made baskets. Philly had literally nothing but dunks and layups in the first quarter. Meanwhile, the Warriors, courtesy of Saric, managed to make a single 3 near the end of the quarter. Notably, Steve Kerr used a challenge early on here in the first quarter to win possession after turned the ball over and the refs missed the call. Or was it intentional? I mean, really. After they wiped away a Curry triple on a 4-point play that was challenged, I can't put anything past the refs. At the time Curry made the shot, that one made basket was 25% of the Warriors' points wiped away. An ever so slight motion of Steph Curry's legs caused the refs to call an offensive foul. Now, what the refs didn't take into account was that illegal contact by the defender was imminent. Steph Curry kicked his leg out so that the defender didn't land on his leg, which could have caused injury. So either Steph Curry saved his ankles or he gets an offensive foul. The Warriors ended the quarter with 15 points and down by 7 to the Sixers. The second quarter was a completely different game. The Warriors were able to find a rhythm primarily through Jonathan Kuminga, who continues to improve his passing ability, finding Clay, Pods, Looney, and Lester some good looks at the rim. Sprinkle this in with JK's unstoppable scoring ability, and you quickly see why the Warriors screamed all the way up to a 3-point lead at the half. Maxey made a step back 27-footer and his Clay instincts took over. The next two possessions would see Maxey fire up the brick oven. Sorry, Maxey, but that's not how you cook. As if the 10-point margin of victory in the second quarter wasn't enough, the Warriors proceeded to make a statement in the third. The lethal wing combo of Wiggins and Kuminga was on full display as the Dubs punished the Sixers inside and outside. Kuminga slashed while Wiggins smashed and cashed. Klay Thompson kept it cool while splashing 3s and 2s. The overwhelming power of the Warriors' wings sent them soaring to a massive 30-point gap that would make even Michael Strahan proud. Nick Nurse had seen enough and waved the white flag, sending in the reserves. Les did finish as the fourth highest scorer with 13 points and 4 assists in his 24 minutes against the Sixers. Kuminga, Wiggins, and Thompson, however, all made it happen for Golden State, finishing with 18, 21, and 18 points respectively. Meanwhile, Andrew Wiggins came up with a double-double, while Kuminga equaled Pods to lead the team with 5 assists, while only turning the ball over once. The Dubs finished off the Sixers 127-104 with the next matchup in less than 24 hours. Curry finished in the single digits after a rough shooting night, and you could tell he was disappointed. The Pacers would be the toughest challenge yet on this road tour. The team had been pressured to trade Kuminga for Siakam, and tonight both players would be matched up against each other. But rarely does Steph Curry ever follow up a bad shooting night with anything less than something spectacular. And the chef did not disappoint. With the hottest start to a game this season, Steph lit up the Pacers for 6 first-quarter threes, hitting on every single attempt. And these weren't just your average open threes. These were hand in his face.
Curry out of the corner, yes sir!
Lateral takedowns.
Steph Curry's amazing too, hitting another.
And even through 4 hands, that's more than twice the amount it takes some of the greatest shooters to give it up. I mean, really. The correct play is to pass out of a double team. When you're Steph Curry though, one does not simply pass out of a double team. Steph Curry led the Warriors to an Indiana cookfest and annihilated his matchup with Tyrese Halliburton so badly it really didn't matter what else the rest of his teammates did as long as they showed up to the game. The Warriors scorched the Pacers with a 45-point first quarter and an 11-point lead. There was something else that happened through all of this, however. When word spread like wildfire that Steph Curry had launched an all-out nuclear assault on the Indiana Pacers, the NBA sent their boys and got my live stream shut down 4 times. So I apologize for the lack of live streams at the moment because it seems they don't want me broadcasting and commenting on the game, which makes no sense, but I'll have something figured out soon enough. The Warriors cooled off in the second quarter with the second unit. Now, the Warriors have one of the best second units this season, but that's a lot of credit to Chris Paul. Considering Paul hasn't been playing, things haven't been quite the same. Additionally, Kerr has been going deeper and deeper into his bench and finding a ton of untapped talent which we've known about, but was never given a chance to truly blossom. This unit got off a bit slow, struggling to create any offense. This gave the Pacers an advantage and allowed them to cut the lead down to within 2 points. Kerr had seen enough, and with the return of the starting unit, we see Stephen Curry bring back the offensive firepower that the Warriors had in the first quarter, and by the end of the first half, the lead had been extended to 12 points, at which point, Stephen Curry had 29 points. The third quarter was a continuation of the second as the Warriors simply continued to bulldoze the Pacers, opening the gap to 19 points while Steph Curry and Jonathan Kuminga continued to be unstoppable at the basket. But we all know a 19-point lead isn't safe in the NBA. To make matters even worse, the Warriors were clearly not satisfied with the lead. After burying the Pacers in the third quarter, the Warriors bench of Guy Santos and Lester Quinones took South Bend to Pound Town. After a slam dunk by J.K., Santos followed up with an alley-oop finish to bring down the house. The Pacers tried to respond, but Guy Santos' rack attack forced the defense low, where he continued to punish them from distance, hitting 2 big threes as the fourth wore down. Steph Curry was next, hitting back-to-back triples, and with 3 minutes to go, Steph was pulled from the game. It was clearly over, and it was clear that Indiana wanted nothing more to do with Steph Curry. But wait, I thought this was a playoff team and the Warriors weren't. The doubters lose. Again. Curry finished with 42 points, followed up by JK with 18 and 4 assists.
Back and forth with Patrick Beverly, I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Are they tilting the floor?
Be unfairly criticized for what he did with the Warriors, for coming to the Warriors. It will. I don't know that'll change.
Do you feel
that could change. He was the best player in a series with LeBron James in it, with Steph Curry. He was the Finals MVP in those wins, no doubt. So what does he have to prove?
Bob Myers just said on national TV that Kevin Durant was the best player on the floor every year that the Warriors won a championship with him. KD is my guy, but not only did Stephen Curry win 2 rings without KD, he won one before and another after. He also did this with a player the league determined to be a bust as his second best player, a player that was so bad the Warriors received him as compensation in a sign and trade deal because KD was already leaving.
This means that the Warriors had to take scrap for that KD value. Not only did Steph Curry outplay KD thoroughly in 2018, one of the biggest reasons that Kevin Durant was able to put up the numbers he did during those 2 championships was because players would instead double Stephen Curry. To make matters worse, Ty Lue, the Cavs coach during those years, the team that the Warriors beat during these same years Myers is talking about, specifically said Stephen Curry was the most dangerous player out there on the floor.
But you don't have to take my word for it.
KD's hard to stop, and he's going to score his points. I just think, the most dangerous guy over the last 3 finals, and we've talked about, is that Steph Curry. When he's making shots, when he's scoring the basketball, when he's passing the basketball, they're an unbelievable team. So I think, that's the hit of the snake. The hit of the snake. The hit of the snake. And, we tried to take him away, and I thought we did a good job in Game 4 of just limiting him to, 13 shots. I just think when he's scoring the basketball and playing free, they're really unstoppable.
But wait, could Myers have said this because drafting Curry isn't on his resume? But signing Kevin Durant is? Funny enough, we have a game to settle this. Steph Curry being the closer for the Warriors versus KD, Book, Beal, eeny, meeny, miny, whomever, it doesn't matter, because who matter doesn't mind and who mind doesn't matter. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal were number 1 options on their own teams at one point in time.
What's going on with him? I don't know. Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
This matchup was a battle from the jump. The referees were locked in and had elite performances, with one technical to Draymond Green and a myriad of unnecessary calls, including one that could have decided the game by giving the Suns an extra opportunity. It was grit for grit from the get, with Draymond and Nurkic having a grown man's battle that initially looked rough for Draymond to the point where Kerr had to take him out. Things still favored the Warriors early, however, as Klay Thompson was able to force some turnovers and even get out in transition to hit a 3 in rhythm. Unfortunately, that would be it for Klay for the rest of the night. To continue with the good news, however, the ball movement by Golden State looked like a well-oiled machine that just came from being tuned up, and they attacked the Phoenix Suns relentlessly. Gary Payton made his debut and his presence was felt all the way in Tempe. Fast breaks and reverse finishing lobs on your first day back from injury? Sheesh! The first quarter ended with the Dubs up by 5, but the Suns weren't going to give up that easily. The Suns came out hard against the Warriors, but unfortunately for them, JK had warmed up and set up a picnic table at the basket. Superman's cave might as well have been his picnic blanket because he was feasting at an elevation of 10 feet 10 toes levitated. He would not be denied. Yet still, Kevin Durant lit the fire, and somehow, whenever this one guy, Josh Okogie, faces the Warriors, he turns into the most dangerous player on the planet, hitting shots like this. Seriously? He's lucky that even touched the backboard, but somehow it went in. The Suns managed to salvage the second quarter and go into the half down by just 1. The third quarter was an all-out brawl. Draymond and Nurkic continued to go at each other, with Nurkic at one point pounding the floor in emphasis on the size difference between himself and Dre. Draymond, of course, returned the favor. Let me say this. Draymond is an absolute whiz with the basketball in his hands. Those fake handoffs are evolving. With this simple move, he draws his defender out and quickly, without skipping a beat, dribbles into a quick drive and layup before Nurkic could recover his misstep. On multiple occasions, he was able to get by his man, catch them slipping, and take advantage before they even knew what was happening. He was a nightmare matchup by virtue of being too quick and too savvy for Nurkic to guard him, and forget about the other end of the floor. I mean, this is Draymond we're talking about. Nurk finished the night with 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Draymond finished with 15 points, 7 assists, and 9 rebounds. All that said, Nurkic has a new name for Draymond. Daddy. I've got just one thing to say about Nurkic to end this segment though.
That brother needed help.
The ball movement was spectacular in the third as the team continued to make plays for each other, but not before Stephen Curry had one last dance with Kevin Durant. A disorienting back to the rim dribble, followed by a slow step back to throw Kevin Durant off his stance, which then doubled into a deep step back 3 in Kevin Durant's face. Curry was back on defense as KD got caught up in the moment, realizing the foreshadowing of his own mortality at the hands of Wardell Stephen Curry. The third quarter ended with both teams in lock, and it was for sure about to be a showdown in the fourth. And boy was it a showdown. Eric Gordon and KD came out hot, but they ran into the Warriors bench, this time led by Pods and featuring Lester Quinones and Gary Payton II. Suns were forced to call timeout as this trio pummeled the Suns to start the fourth. They were neck and neck as the starters returned. It was a back and forth battle as both teams would hit back-to-back baskets. As we got close to the end, Devin Booker started to cook. Book was going back to back against JK and Draymond. Booker hits a 2 when the Suns take a 2-point lead and seemingly have the momentum. It looked like the Warriors were about to choke away another lead with 35 seconds to go. They were down for the count. Kuminga missed an opportunity to tie it, and while it's not a good look for him considering Kerr pulled him for Clay, who had only scored 5 points all game, he's still young and will get better in the big moments. The Warriors get a stop and call timeout with 3.3 seconds left on the clock. The Warriors inbounded to Steph Curry, who almost lost it as Beal challenged, and as Steph turned around, he fired the only shot in the game that truly mattered. 0.7 left on the clock, and the Suns were all but done for. The refs made a last-ditch effort to give the KD-led team a fighting chance after they botched the first inbound, but Dre locked up KD on the second inbound and kept Slender Man from even becoming a threat. The Warriors walked away with the win of the century. The Warriors are now 6-1 in their last 7, 7-3 in their last 10, and are tied with the Mavs for the longest win streak in the West with 4 big ones. The Dubs are also currently behind only the 8th seeds in either conference in the loss column. What does this mean? This team is back, baby! Post your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what you think of the Warriors' chances of winning this year's championship. If you ask me, I'd be worried if I wasn't rocking the blue and gold this season. Just don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Swish!
Hell of a play. Nice to credit Steph Curry. The best ever.